Gambia.
They're taking Myanmar's court to the UN, make complaining. I'm trying to make sense of this. What do I understand?
I mean, it's not to say that Gambia is also a saintly state. Also, everyone is doing it for political gains. Okay, but at least they have enough heart to try to do that. It's you don't fear Allah. Leaders don't fear Allah. We've become like Christians. We may preach the gospel. We may have the biggest churches, mosques, but people in the Vatican, they don't believe. They don't fear their Lord. They don't. The one Marxist newspaper in Italy, they did a sting on these Catholic priests. They were like arranging boys for them. And they asked them very specific questions, and the priests are laughing. Say, "Oh, don't you fear God?" I say, "Ha ha ha ha!" They'll start laughing. And these things didn't just happen now. It's been happening for hundreds of years, if not for 1,000 years. I saw something recently also. The Salesians Brotherhood of Don Bosco. You know that there's a big school. Their whole thing, it's a holy order, like the Benedictines, like the Franciscans. It's a holy order. Okay. And these holy orders, the Pope doesn't have really quite full control over them. And they can do as they like. And their whole thing is education and educating the boys. Huge, do I need to say more what the priests were up to? Huge cover-up. And this is institutionalized. Okay? So, it's a great deal of politics that's happening. And there's no fear of Allah. I was just looking at the calligraphy that Mahdi did. The fear of Allah is the what?
The pinnacle of knowledge.
The fear of Allah is the pinnacle of knowledge. So, when you see so many people get away with it, there's no fear. There's fear from the American government, of course, right? There's fear from the traffic police, right? You're on the highway, woo! Oh, everyone is shaking. Yes, sir. No, sir. Okay, sir, don't shoot me. Correct? How is this done? Why do we have fear from the police force? Why do we have fear from this government? Because they have power. You understand? They exert that. Muslims don't have any power. How can you put the fear of Allah when people get away with it? Like, for example, over here, if there's no power, they cannot exert that power. They cannot give you a ticket. Everyone does as they like. There is no fear. You can have law, but nobody cares. There's no fear. Everyone does as they like because it's not enforced, because there's no authority. But when there's authority, you cannot. So, on an international level, it's very, very, very bad. Very bad. And they know what's happening. But they say, we have our own national agenda also. It's okay if a couple of million Uyghurs or Rohingyas, they are killed, but next year no one's going to remember them, and we can push our own agenda forward.
60% of the wars in the world are Muslim lands, and 80% of the people killed in this world are Muslim.
Yeah. Forget about Trump. The last 3 presidents, the 2 Bushes and Obama, they killed over, I believe the figure is 11 million. No, it's more than that. Muslims. Okay? And we're blaming this guy. Okay, he's bad, but why we're not like believers are not awake to understand the tricks of shaitan, the tricks of dunya, the tricks of nafs, you understand? This is what tariqat is concentrating on, to understand the tricks of shaitan. So, it's happening. Astaghfirullah. It's very bad. What we can do. If you have the power, you must do that. If you have the tongue, you must say. If you cannot change it with your hands, change it with your tongue. Prophet ﷺ is saying, if you cannot speak up at least about it, change it in your heart, but to know that that is the lowest level of faith. It is. But Muslims are not believing in du'as anyway. If only these world leaders, they will say, next Friday, all the Muslims, the whole world, will go for Jummah, raise their hands and ask for Allah to send help to destroy those oppressors. You think Allah is not going to? They cannot do that. They cannot even ask the whole country to put up their hands because they're in the payroll already. How can you? So even with religion, or even with people from Tasawwuf, if I enter into, let's say, for example, different countries, Muslim countries, we cannot speak like this. We can make people to make zikr, we can talk about love, we can talk about Prophet, but don't make people to realize how we've been taking this drug. Yeah? Yes, that time, religion becomes a drug. It becomes an opiate. Because religion, Islam especially, is supposed to make you to wake up. It's the only religion that tells you to wake up. Allah specifically says, think. Why don't you think? You must be thinking. And the Prophet ﷺ didn't just come to give people shahadat, but to say, this society that you are in, that you think it is part of life, that you think it is part of your tradition, that it cannot be changed, this is messed up. It's wrong. To bury your children is wrong. Okay? To bow down in front of the zalim rulers, it is wrong. Taking all the teachings of the earlier prophets and changing it, perverting it, it is wrong. Let's speak a little bit openly. With the women in Mecca and Medina at that time, they were covering their head, but they were not covering anything else. And they were going around making tawaf. That was first Jahiliyyah. Understand the pain of the second Jahiliyyah now. It's pretty bad. So anyway,